Okay, so this is what you're going to do in order for you to become consistent within the next 30 days. This is how you're going to be successful. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Guidance, and we're just going to get straight into it. Now, if you're new here and you haven't checked out the videos that we made recently about this 30-day challenge, make sure you check it out. It will be somewhere here on the screen or in the description down below. Basically, we broke down step by step what you need to do in order for you to be consistent, in order for you to be successful. Now, of course, granted, when it comes to being successful, you get to decide what it is that you want to do, and you have to take your time doing it. Being consistent is not something that needs to be difficult or complicated. And as your mental health specialist, psychologically, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, health is wealth. We're not here to be stressed out. We're not here to be overwhelmed. And I'm not here to sell you any false dreams or realities, because at the end of the day, you get to decide what you do in this life. Just because you're consistent in a certain area doesn't make you a good or bad person. It just means that you're living your life, and it's important to maintain consistency in the things that you actually value, because it's not like you lack consistency. You're consistent when you go to school, you're consistent when you go to work. It's just doing the things that you're maybe not used to doing, you're unfamiliar with, or things that you want to continue doing. So in this video, what we're going to talk about is how consistency honestly is going to affect you long term. So the last video we talked about, like I said, catch up if you haven't already, was coming up with solutions, coming up with problems. And if you see me looking over here, I am just reading the outline that I have for you guys, because I had to break this down the best way that I can. Now that we know what your goals are, now that we know what it is that you're trying to achieve, now that we know what it is that you're trying to receive, now that we know what your passions are, now that we know why you're interested, how it's going to affect you, what it is that you're looking forward from, you can actually start to problem solve. You see, when people talk about consistency, they just say to be consistent, but it's just like, in order for you to be consistent, you have to know what it is that you're doing. You have to be very strategic. You have to have a plan. You have to know the responsibilities. Like, yes, it is maintenance, but you have to understand that when you make choices in life, they should be intentional. And that's all consistency is. Like, life does not have to be challenging. As human beings, especially when it comes to our mental health, like, people make things more than what it needs to be. I don't like to be stressed. I don't like to be overwhelmed. So that's the same energy that I'm putting out for you watching this. So when you know what you can start doing, when you know your current resources, when you know what you have access to, when you know what you have control over, you don't necessarily have to be so overwhelmed on the things that you don't have. Now, of course, this takes time. Consistency is a skill. Like, you becoming consistent in your life, if you're not already intentional, it's just something that you have to adapt to. Like, being consistent is a habit. And it's not like you're not consistent, like I said, in any other areas of your life, but it's like when you are trusting yourself to do something that you never done before, in the beginning, it can seem difficult. It could seem frustrating. It could seem overwhelming, especially if you're not taught how to be consistent, or maybe you don't know what that looks like. So you have to understand that consistency is going to pay off. We talked about everything else. So if you haven't already, make sure you, like I said, are watching these videos and you're applying the knowledge. So when it comes to being consistent, now that you have your ideas, now that you know what you can do, we can start implementing what you're going to do daily. So the main goal that I've been talking about for the past 6, 7, I don't know how many videos now, is losing weight. If you're losing weight, I gave you a lot more tools and resources, just because that's the only example that I could think of, right? Whatever your goal is, apply it to it. But it's just like, when you're losing weight, like I talked about in the last video, it's not that you can't lose weight. It's not that it's impossible. Even if you're not around people who are considered to be healthy or knowledgeable about losing weight, you could start looking in your refrigerator or in your household or in your environment and see, what changes can I start daily, or that I could start to implement in order for me to become consistent. Because like I said, maybe financially you're not able to afford a personal trainer. Maybe financially you're not able to go to the gym. But financially, for example, or physically, for example, let's just say Like me, I'm a big bag. Okay, that's not my goal right now. But let's just say you have the opportunity to not eat Chick-fil-A. Shout out to Chick-fil-A if you're watching this. Hey, I'm gonna tag you guys in the video. But like, let's just say you could cut off things like this. This is I think macadamium chocolate chip cookie at Chick-fil-A. If you know, you know. Like, what if you could start off cutting off certain foods if you can't financially go to the gym or invest into a gym membership? Being consistent is based off of the choices that we make. And you have to realize you being successful is up to you. But in order for you to seriously be consistent and understand how to solve problems, you have to ask yourself, what is it that you want? This is why it's really important. And I've talked about it throughout the beginning of the videos that I made, and I'm trying my best not to keep going back, but it all ties into it. Like, knowing why you want to be consistent, knowing what it is that you're interested in, it all ties in together. Like, you have to know that when you decide to do something, there's purpose behind it, whether it is for a long period of time or it's a short period of time. So it's like, if you're losing weight, how is this going to affect you? Like, when you know what you have to do, like, it's not difficult. It's time consuming because, you know, if you physically weigh 400 pounds, 300 pounds, 200 pounds, and your goal is to lose 40, 50 pounds, it's going to take some time. So it's just like, once we know what it is that we need to do, you just have to do it. And this video may be a little bit shorter than the rest of them, but it's just like, when you know what you need to do in life in order for you to get to where you need to be, you don't have a choice. And honestly, that's the mindset, that's the attitude that you have to have. Like, you just have to know that if you decide to do something, you're going to do it. And like, you have to be okay with knowing that it's going to take time for you to lose weight. Like, a lot of people get discouraged and they feel upset because a lot of times people are uneducated, right? You have a lot of people who are uneducated and they get discouraged because they went to the gym for 2 days, 48 hours, and they're like, oh yeah, I went to the gym for the 2 days. It's not working. If it took more than 2 days for you to gain this weight, don't you think it's going to take 2 days for you to lose it? But you got to realize, being consistent, like I said, you're building a skill, you're training your mindset, you're training the muscles, right, of your thoughts and your emotions, and releasing things that are no longer resonating with you. You're learning and learning information, and like, knowing that you being consistent, showing up, making these habits is going to lead into progress. Like, when you can improve in these areas of your life, so if you can improve physically, like I said, cutting off Chick-fil-A cookies and not eating milkshakes, or I look like a big bag, but that's okay, like not eating all of these like stuff, and you're serious about your diet, you will start to make progress. Like, it's only 24 hours in a day, like 24 hours in a day. I don't know why I'm always getting tongue twisted when I make these videos. Like, what is going on? But like, basically, when it comes to you, I guess sometimes it's when I'm recording it. Like, when I record these videos, you guys are going to see them at whatever time, but when I record videos at nighttime, I think it's because it's past my bedtime and I just be a little bit tired. But it's just like, when you are serious about making certain choices, you just do them. So it's just like, if you know you're trying to lose weight, you can't be upset because you're not losing weight when you expect yourself to lose weight, especially if you've never done it before. And you have to realize that learning how consistency is going to pay off in the long term is accepting that you started something. So like, your weight loss journey, it could take months, it could take days, it could take years. It depends on how much time, energy, and effort that you're putting in to lose weight, as well as your body. You have to realize there's so many factors, like I said, in being successful or being consistent, and it's a habit. So it's just like, once you learn to discipline yourself with cutting off certain foods, then you start to save the money to go to the gym. Then you start to save the money to invest into a personal trainer. Then you start taking time on your off days. Instead of going to Chick-fil-A or Wendy's or McDonald's, you're going outside, you're exercising. Like, when it comes to being consistent, you have to make solutions. You have to be able to problem solve, because it's like, you can have ideas, you can have all these things that you want to do, but it's like, if you're not taking the action and you're not allowing the time to be what it is, it's nothing more you can do. And it's just like, consistency as you are going through your journey, because that's what it is. Consistency is the journey. It's not the goal. Like, anybody could lose weight, anybody could buy a house, anybody can get a car. It's what you do after you get those things. Like, not just that, until you do what needs to be done, until you experience the journey, you have no goal. So it's just like consistency is going to be paid off based off of what you do over time. You building these habits is going to help you with your behaviors. So if you start to lose weight and you are serious and you're making the changes to maintain this weight, you're not going to be eating cookies and diets all day. Oh my gosh, you're not going to be eating cookies and stuff that's not for you all the time. You're going to learn how to diet. You're going to learn how to maybe treat yourself occasionally. Like, that's not going to be something you do every day. Like, if you guys seen the movie Supersize, or if you're too young for that, there is this man that used to go to McDonald's and he used to eat McDonald's every day. I remember watching that I guess documentary. I was in middle school. I think I was like in the 8th, 6th, 7th grade. I don't remember. I just know I was in middle school when we watched that. And this man, he ended up gaining a lot of weight. And then obviously they did it for like tests and stuff like that. Now I'm ranting. But like, when you start to make certain choices to better yourself, you can't go back to what you used to do. And if you do, you have to do it in moderation. Like, you have to be mindful. Like, if you set the intention to lose weight and you stop eating cookies and sweets, how is this affecting you? This is the same thing with being consistent. Like, when you learn to show up for yourself and you're doing everything that you can, that's how you stay motivated. That's how you learn to not be so stressed. Like, in the beginning, yes, it's difficult. And it's not to say that you making time for yourself isn't going to make you feel some type of way emotionally, because you have to realize, if you're used, like I said, if you're used to like maybe being larger or being overweight, and you decide to stop eating cookies and you decide to start exercising, like, that old version of you who was doing that is gonna feel some type of way. And it's just like, you have to realize the new life and the things that you want is just a couple of steps away, a couple of decisions away, and it's a battle. Like, you're literally battling your past self, your present self, and your future self, because it's the same person. It's just you grew. And being consistent, you're gonna grow. Like, who you are when you started, who you are in the middle, and who you end up becoming. So it's just like, it's gonna pay off. Like, learning to trust yourself when you make a decision. That's why I talked about it, and I'm trying my best not to repeat too much, but it's all tied in. Like, you have to be very intentional about your goals. That was the first video that we talked about, and this is why I strategically broke this information down, so you are aware. Like, you have to know that it comes with responsibility. Anything that you have to work for comes with responsibility. If it's not something that's being handed to you, because that's the only two options in life, unless you know another option. But for me personally, if things are not being handed to me, I have to work for it. That's the same thing with your goals. Like, if you want to lose weight, you need to know what it takes to lose weight. Not just going to Instagram and posting your routine, like, for people to see, but like, are you willing, like I said, to work out for maybe 3 months and only lose 5 pounds instead of what you wanted to? And it's like, once you realize what you do have control over, like, slowly but surely, as you're showing up for yourself, you won't feel so quick or feel like you're behind or that you have to compare yourself, because a lot of people nowadays are comparing themselves to other people, and it's just like, you don't have everybody else's life. How are you going to be upset because other people have things that you want when you're not them? And speaking from experience, excuse me personally, I don't look at other people and I'm like, oh, I wish I this, or I'm envious. No, because it's like, it's not going to change your situation. So it's just like, how consistency pays off is you building these habits. You learn how to trust yourself. You knowing that you decided to lose weight. Like, you just have to be responsible. Like that's is really it. Like being consistency is not hard. Like a lot of people are like, oh, it's so hard to do this stuff. And it's just like, is it really? Like if you want your hair done, it's not hard. If you want to go to the barbershop, it's not hard. If you want a brand new game on Xbox or PlayStation, if people still play those, like that's not hard. Like if you're willing to make time, energy, and effort in these things, it's not hard. It's just you have to ask yourself, do you want these things? Like just because other people are doing things doesn't mean it's for you. That's why it's really important to know like what it is that you're doing, how it's going to affect you, because it's like if you really want something, you have to do what it takes. And when you're doing something to get something, like you don't know what's going to come with it. So it's just like if you're not sure about the choices that you make in your life, you got to learn how to reflect over them. But even though when you're starting, like I said, it does seem like challenging and difficult, but it's just like that's what's going to build the results. Doing something for maybe months, years, like let's just say you are becoming a personal trainer, that could take years. It depends. Like everybody is different. I'm not a scientist, I'm not analytics, I'm not the statistics, so don't quote me specifically, but it's like you have to build momentum. Like a personal trainer, it could take months and days and years, but it's just like, are you willing? Are you willing to show up? Are you willing to be this person that you want to be? Like it's going to pay off. That shouldn't be your focus though. And I think I'll make the next video talking about that. Like the goal should not be your focus because you know what you want. It's how you get to the goal. It's how you actually accomplish the goal. You feel me? So if you have questions, comments, or concerns, make sure you comment down below. Make sure you're following for more. Let me know if this video resonates with you by liking it, commenting, and subscribe. I'm gonna make sure I get my rest, so therefore when I make these videos for the rest of this month, my energy is calm, because the last couple of videos I have been tired. I'm just gonna be completely honest, like right now. But I'm still showing up because I'm being consistent, as well as pouring that energy out for you watching. And when you follow me on my other social media platforms will be in the description box down below. And if you want a one-on-one session, head to my website at tyguidance.summer.com. And when you follow me on TikTok, on Instagram, which will be in the description box down below, I will be going live answering you guys' questions, as well as putting polls in my story for you to vote to see what you guys want to talk about, what we're interested in, seeing where we are, what we need to focus on, or things that we just need to not focus on until we can reach our goal here on YouTube. That's why it's really important that you like these videos. Thank you to everybody who is commenting. Thank you to everyone who's returning. Like if you're new here, if you watch the video all the way to the end, subscribe. Or tell someone, like if you know anybody who wants to heal themselves or just loves life and these videos resonates with them, engage. Especially if you're like somebody who is in a public eye, or you're networking or social media, like people need people. So it's just like put out the energy that you want to receive, but know that the consistency is going to pay off because you did the work and you get what you deserve. What you put out is what you get back in return. Okay, thanks for watching. Love you. Bye. Good night.